Chapter 7. A Lucky Jolt. To Bertie's great satisfaction, Beryl Foster, after some hesitation, accepted an invitation from Mrs. Ballister to dine with them on the ensuing Sunday, and it was arranged that Bertie was to call for her at her home in Hoboken early in the afternoon. He did so, and was introduced to her mother and her brother Willie. Then the two young people set out for Brooklyn. Bertie thought the little flower girl had never looked prettier. She had no expensive clothes to wear, but what she did have set off her natural beauty to perfection. Mrs. Ballister was rather surprised at the little maid's many personal advantages, while her sweetness and good breeding charmed her. "She is a lovely little girl," was the lady's verdict. "I might have known that Bertie wouldn't have taken up with anything ordinary." Beryl passed a very pleasant afternoon with the Ballisters, and Bertie took her home before it got dark. A few days afterward, Bertie learned of a vacant place in a Broad Street stationery store, which he believed would suit Beryl, and he got Mr. Morse to recommend her to the firm, with the head of which he was personally acquainted. Bertie took Beryl down to the store, introduced her, and she got the place. For some little time after that, the brokers who had been in the habit of buying their bouquets at the corner of Nassau and Wall Streets wondered what had become of the pretty little flower girl, but nobody could tell them. She had simply vanished all of a sudden, and that's all there was to it. Of course, Beryl was very grateful to Bertie for interesting himself so much in her behalf, and told him she would never forget his kindness. He laughed and told her not to worry about it, as he was very glad to be of service to her. After that they were, if anything, better friends than ever, though naturally they did not meet nearly so often as before. In the meantime, while Bertie worked faithfully as ever for his employer, he was diligently studying the stock market and exchange methods, and kept his eye on the lookout for a favorable chance to make another 10-strike, as he called it. He never for a moment forgot about that barrel of money he hoped to make one of these days, but he wasn't touching his $3,000 in the bank to follow any wildcat scheme. Bertie had a wise head on his shoulders. When he put up his good money, he wanted some assurance that it was coming back to him, even if he did not make such a good profit as he had done on his first venture. It was many weeks before his next opportunity came to him. And this was how it happened. One morning he was sent down to a certain building on Exchange Place. It was in this tall structure that his mother's brother, Stuart Sheldon, had a splendid suite of offices. As Bertie darted in at the door, he came into collision with another messenger boy who was coming out in a big hurry. The boys went down in a heap at the entrance, the other messenger dropping a small leather pocketbook he had in his hand, which opened out and several envelopes were scattered about on the marble tiles. A gust of wind blew one of the envelopes apart from the others. The boys hastily scrambled to their feet, and Bertie was about to help the other recover his envelopes, when the boy deliberately knocked him down, picked up the pocketbook and scattered contents, and rushed away at a hot pace. "Well, I think that was pretty cool," breathed Bertie indignantly. "It was as much his fault as it was mine. I'll know him again if I should run across him, and you can bet I'll tell him what I think of him." Then Bertie spied the envelope which the wind had separated from the others, and which the messenger in his hurry had overlooked. He picked it up, and as he did so, the flap came open, and a slip of paper dropped out. "It's a wonder some people don't take the trouble to seal their envelopes properly," said Bertie as he stooped down for the paper. In taking it up, he could not help reading the few words that were written in a plain, round hand across the face of the slip. "Begin at once, and take every share of the stock offered." That's what it read, and it was signed, Bertie gave a gasp, Stuart Sheldon. He returned the slip to its envelope, and then glanced at the superscription. It was addressed to one of the big brokers of the exchange. Bertie ran out on the walk and looked for the messenger, but he had disappeared. "I'll have to see that this is delivered to the man for whom it is intended," he said. "I'll take it around to the exchange when I deliver my own message upstairs." Bertie had to go to the 6th floor, and when he presented his envelope in the office of the firm he had been sent to, he was told to sit down and wait for an answer. While he was waiting the pleasure of the firm to whom his note had been handed, he amused himself wondering what was the name of the stock which was about to be boomed under orders from his uncle, Stuart Sheldon. "It looks as if I had stumbled right on to another A1 copper-fastened pointer, only this time it seems to be a blind one. Let me see. Is there any way I can find out? I have it. I've got the name of the broker who is going to do the buying for Mr. Sheldon, who is probably the head of a pool formed to boost the stock in question. I'll keep my eyes open and see if I can find out what stock he makes a break for. As soon as I do, I'm going to pitch in and buy a few shares of it myself. Oh, I wish I had that barrel of coin now. I guess I wouldn't try to do a thing to Mr. Sheldon. I'd like to give him a good jolt for the way he treated Mother. It's a long lane which hasn't a turning. Maybe I'll reach him some day in a way he won't like. If I ever do, I'll rub it in nice and hard. On his way back to the bank, he stopped at the exchange and asked the man at the gate to bring broker Steinfeld to the rail. The official hunted Steinfeld up, and presently the broker came out. "Well," he said a bit roughly to Bertie, "got a message for me?" "Yes, sir." And the boy handed him Mr. Sheldon's message. Steinfeld tore the envelope open, read the slip, nodded to Bertie, and rushed back on the floor. Bertie tried to keep track of him, but he couldn't. Presently he saw broker Wadsworth coming toward the rail, probably with the intention of passing out into New Street. He resolved to make a cheeky break. "Good morning, Mr. Wadsworth," he said politely. "Hello, Bertie, is that you? I hear you have lost your little mash," with a grin. "Didn't know I had one," replied Bertie innocently. "Is that so? I thought you and the flower girl at the corner of Wall and Nassau were as thick as molasses. Now that she's gone, apparently for good, I expected to find you in the dumps. I don't look as if I were pining away, do I, sir?" "Well, hardly. I guess you don't need my sympathy," laughed the broker. "No, sir, not today. By the way, Mr. Wadsworth, did you notice what Mr. Max Steinfeld was buying?" "Steinfeld? Oh, he just started in to buy CH&D, and they are shoving it at him in shoals. He'll need a barrel of dough if he takes all that's offered. It's gone up a point already. What did you want to know for?" curiously. "Just for fun, that's all. He's such a fussy little man that I was wondering what he was making himself so prominent about on the floor for," replied Bertie evasively. "That was it, eh?" said Wadsworth unsuspiciously. They passed into New Street together and parted at the corner of Wall, Bertie returning to the bank. He had got the information he wanted, and when he went to lunch that afternoon he drew $2,950, took the money around to the Broadway broker who had executed his former commission, and put it up on 500 shares of CH&D at 59. Once more Bertie was in the market, but this time he was there with both feet. End of chapter 7.